Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time to meet our community, the Hispanic business community here in Orange County. Powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center. With the man, he's right in the middle of the conversation each and every week, guiding us through this vast landscape as the man who seems to know everybody, John Gutierrez. Hey, sir.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our community podcast show, where our community is your community, powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, John Gutierrez, founder of OC Hospice and the Senior Vice President at the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Today, we have a special guest, our good friend, Maria Gomez, who is the CEO of Orange County Escrow Services. She's also a longtime member of our Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which we will be talking about today. But she was our 2022 Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Estrella Awards Member of the Year winner. And you can see this beautiful award here. And welcome, Maria Gomez.
Thank you for having me. It's such an honor.
So, first and foremost, we like to ask people a little bit about who you are and where you grew up. Give us a little bit of background on who Maria Gomez is, family, hobbies, and then we'll get into all the fun stuff of Orange County Escrow and, of course, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Awesome. So Maria Gomez, my full name is Maria Guadalupe Gomez. The reason being I was born the day of our Virgin Mary, and I was born in Jalisco, Mexico. I was brought here at the age of 1. My dad had crossed the border prior to bringing the whole family over. So blessed enough, my mom, colored eyes. So we had no problem crossing the border. So that was probably an interesting for them, but yeah, I was born in Mexico. I was brought here at a year old, and I kind of grew up.
Old.
Yeah,
so
year old.
You don't remember any of that, obviously.
Nada.
But you probably have heard some great stories from your
my
mom
father.
And dad.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I mean, my mom crossed us over. Obviously, my dad actually did cross the river and did all that stuff.
Wow.
He worked in the fields and out in Bakersfield, and so then he came back to Santa Ana, and so we grew up in Santa Ana.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting you say that. He my dad grew up obviously in Santa Ana. My dad was born in Mexico, but of course we were raised in Santa Ana. And same thing your dad. Wow, They worked in the fields, moved to Santa Ana, and growing up in Santa Ana, what was that like for you? Tell us a little bit about that.
You know what? It was interesting. We were I don't know, we considered it middle class or whatnot, but we lived in a very small apartment. It's 5 of us. So I have 4, in total 4 brothers and sisters, and we lived in a very small apartment. So, playing in the neighborhood, going out. My dad was a little bit strict on me, so I wasn't able to go outside and play like the boys were able to go. It was kind of rough too, because we grew up in a neighborhood where we would see gang members, we would hear drive-bys. And so you kind of got used to
shootings,
it. Drive-by shootings.
Yes.
Yeah.
For
Drive-by
those
shootings.
That don't know what a drive-by is.
Yeah.
It's obviously a very tough environment. Nothing to laugh about. It's some tough situations in the 90s, right? 80s, 90s, all the 90s. Way through. Yeah, 90s. And, so it must have been tough for you, your brothers, your sister, right? Your family. And at an early age, from my understanding, you want to share the story of you being a mom. That's pretty amazing.
Yes. So growing up in Santa Ana, obviously, it was rough, right? And yeah, we walked, and my dad didn't own a vehicle at all. So he would always take the bus. So we would always take the bus everywhere, right? And so to go to school, we didn't want to take the bus because my dad couldn't obviously afford for all of us to take the bus to go to school. So we would walk an hour to school. And yes, I became a mom at a very young age.
2 beautiful twin daughters, right?
Identical twins.
Which one of them is here outside with us, and another one just had a baby, right?
Yep, I'm a grandma.
Glamma. Let's get that right?
Get that right. I'm a glamma. So I have a 4-year-old. currently right now, Leo, he is 4 years old, and he's my first grandson.
Oh,
and so my second,
congratulations.
thank you. My
Yes.
second grandson was born May 10th, el Día de las Madres.
Yes.
And so Logan was born last week, so
last
very
week.
blessed.
Yes.
And my other daughter's pregnant, and so she's giving birth in August
The
to another
family
boy.
is just growing. The
You know, that's
family's-
the beauty of it, I guess.
Yes.
And the more beauty of it, I'm a young grandma. So nobody really believes me. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm a grandma. I mean, they didn't even believe me when I walk around with my daughters. They're like, are they your sisters? And I'm like, yeah, that's a good thing, you know? But, you know, being a young mom had its challenges, you
I
know,
bet.
because
I
I was
bet.
pregnant in high school. It was my senior year. And so that was still difficult, you know, and I had to leave soccer. I had a scholarship and, you know, I was in honors. I was a good student and, you know, I surrounded myself with good friends, you know, and so I don't want to call it unfortunate, but it's just life happens, right? So,
Exactly.
became pregnant. I still continued going to school, still
Good
had
for
straight
you.
A's.
Good for you.
I mean, I was bullied, called names and whatnot,
I
but
can imagine, right?
you know, I still walked,
Yeah.
you know, to school an hour and
Wow.
back. And, you know, I still had to, I didn't want to quit. You know what I mean?
Of
I
course.
didn't want my father or my family, or even I owe that to myself and my daughters, right? That
Yes.
it didn't matter what the circumstances were. I still wanted to continue to finish my high school and still graduate with my class.
Yes.
And so that was challenging, you know, facing people bullying you and, you know, calling your names. I mean, even a teacher would like make fun of me, like, hey, you know, don't sit on that chair. You might want to break it. You know, you got twins.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I learned how to not get that, you know, get that to me. I mean, I didn't allow it to get to me.
So you build a thicker skin. Let's just
I
say,
had to,
right? Yeah.
you know, because I knew that I had to show, you know, in the future, my daughters, you know, like I was not a quitter. And I think that for me, I got it from my father. You know, he didn't have a vehicle. He would take the bus every 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning to go to work and come back, you know, so he would never make excuses. He would still work. He would never call in sick. So, you know, he would never quit. It didn't matter how hard maybe things were for him and trying to raise, you know, 5 children and his wife. My mother didn't work. So it was only him as a household income. So, you know, I got that from my father, just not quitting and, you know.
I know your dad plays a huge influence in your life, and we'll get into that a little bit later because I know that he was at Estrella Awards
Correct.
where you received this award.
Yes.
And there's a great picture of you and your dad there.
Yeah.
We'll get into that a little bit later. But you know, as you were growing up, where in that road did you find yourself working eventually in this industry? How did you get to that point?
Well, how I got into this point after I had my daughters in high school, you know, at that moment I was working at McDonald's, right? And so then a friend of mine, which you guys have already known, one of my best friends had referred me over to work with her at the credit union. So I used to work at the Orange County's credit union. And so I started as a teller there, you know, and then I became a single mom with my daughters. So they were very young.
Yes.
So I had that challenge to, okay, I have to do it. I have to survive. I have to feed my daughters.
Yes.
Like I'm still young, you know, so
Survival mode.
survival mode is always,
Yes.
it's always in us, right? As Latinos, we always have to be like survival mode because our parents would be like, you know, well, tomorrow we might not have it or would not. So it was always survival mode. So then I worked at the credit union as a teller and then I wanted to move myself up. So from a teller, then I became member service. I did auto
Okay.
loans and I said, okay, I want more. And I was put in the mortgage department, in the servicing department. And you know what? You know, I thought it was, you know, when somebody hears the word mortgage, right? It's kind of like, oh, you're going to be in the real estate division. You're like, no, not really. Like I'm comfortable where I'm at. But, you know, at that moment, I said, you know, I need it. I like challenges, you know, and obviously when they say it's a little bit more money and I'm like, oh yeah, why not? You know, I moved into that field. And at that moment, real estate was kind of, you know, coming up, right? So a relative of mine, a relative of a relative had asked my father, hey, you know, what is she doing? I haven't seen her since she was little. And my dad goes, oh, I think she works at the bank, you know, and she was like, I want to talk to her. And so she worked for a company that was for Countrywide.
Oh, interesting.
And so I didn't know nothing much of underwriting or in that field. So
and
she had asked
Countrywide
me.
is a big organization.
It was
For
a
those
big
that don't know.
organization. Yeah, it was a
Yes.
big organization back in our times, back in the, you know, 2000s or whatnot. So then, you know, she asked me, hey, if you want to be an underwriter, I'll train you. I'll pay you double
Wow.
of what you're getting paid now.
What an opportunity.
A great opportunity.
That's
she
great.
believed in me. She took the time to
But you
train
took
me.
it. But
I
you
took
took
it.
the opportunity. Most people could have been like, no, I don't want this. I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stay where I'm at. you took the jump.
I took the jump, and you'll be surprised because the credit union didn't want me to leave.
Oh.
And they kind of put a scare tactic on me like, hey, the mortgage industry is always going up and down. You might not have a job next month, or you might not have I don't think you would want to take that risk. The credit union is always about family members and, taking care of each other. I was thinking about my daughters. I'm like,
survival mode.
I'm like, well,
Yes.
if I'm able to do this and make that jump, I'm able to buy my first home.
Okay.
Right. So that was my instinct, because growing up, again, going back to that, my dad was always afraid of buying a home. He just thought that the government was just going to take it away from him. And
Yes.
he just,
The fear factor.
So, our parents were like, put the money under the, under the mattress. And that's kind of what he did.
But to their defense, right? Your
Right.
dad, my dad, they left another country. They
Correct.
left another world. They left their food, their music, their culture. They left everything behind to go to. I tell this to my kids. It's like, if I placed you in another world right now, where you don't speak the language, where you don't know the culture, the music, the art, whatever it is, the whole life, how challenging would that be for you, right?
Exactly.
This is what my dad, your dad went through,
Right.
right? So we can understand why they had that fear
Oh,
factor.
yeah, we understand. And you understand once you have children, right? So you kind of understand why your parents did what they did, and why, they wanted to overprotect you, even though we didn't see that as, why are you being so strict, or why can't I just have like the newest tennis shoes, or, or my dad would always give me my hand-me-downs from my brothers, and I'm like, high waters and on jeans. And so, things like that. But you learn to appreciate, and you learned that that's how they were raised.
So you
right?
took this job
I took this job.
at Countrywide.
Correct.
And what was that like? I mean, switching now, were you with a big organization? Not that you weren't before, but now you were in a bigger role, right?
Correct.
Different role.
So I was in a bigger role. So then I was getting paid, obviously, a lot more. It brought a lot of opportunities.
That's great.
For me.
And you learned probably a whole new trade, right?
You learned, and I learned quick. And so I became the underwriter there. And I was able to buy my first home at the age of 22.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah. So I bought my first home. I was able to buy my first home, my nice little car. And so you take it from there. You learn not just, to make money, but how do you invest that money that you're making to putting it into buying a home and investing on your home. I also learned, hey, there's a 401k. The retirement, things that you don't get to learn when
From
you're
our
in
parents.
school.
We don't learn that from our school,
don't.
from our parents, obviously. Migrating, being, what is it? Second generation, right? Is that what it's called? So when you were there and this is happening, I mean, this has been already a really interesting journey in your life. Where at that point did you decide, hey, maybe one day I'm going to be this, we have the title here, Latina entrepreneur.
Latina entrepreneur.
Where was that already the mindset coming from?
You know what? I think as a little girl, you vision a lot of things, right? So you kind of see other, celebrities on TV. You see successful people on TV. So as I stated before, it's the curiosity as a young girl, wanting more, right? And I think because I knew my dad couldn't afford it, but I knew that I was in a great country to do just that, right? So you come into this country, you see the opportunity, you can do it. So I always had that curiosity of, I want that.
Yes.
Because I didn't have it as a younger kid. My dad didn't just hand it to me, So, and I understand, but that made me be hungry and stay hungry.
Yeah.
So, the little things that you achieve, then what's next, right? So I was always hungry
you
for the
motivated.
next, exactly.
Kept you
So I was always
motivated.
hungry for the next thing.
Yes.
Right. But, you try, you succeed, and I had more failures than success before I was, owning my own business. I lost everything during the subprime times.
Wow.
Right. So I got into Countrywide. I bought a home. I got another home. I drove the nice car, and next thing you know, subprime hits.
Wow.
And we get fired.
Wow.
Like, hey, there's no more, market crashed. See you guys. What do I do?
Big blow. Big
time.
Just like, wow.
I lost both of my houses.
Wow.
My vehicles. And, at that time, I remarried, and I was pregnant with, my 14-year-old now.
Yes.
But I still have 2 little girls, and I was pregnant. At that moment, I feel like a failure.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I worked so hard for something just in a second just was taken away from you. Right.
Yes.
But that still didn't like set me aside to like not want to try and do it again, right?
Wow. How did you bounce back? What happened?
So then going back to the credit union, right? So I'm always been a firm believer, you have to leave your previous job in good standings, right? So then I contacted the credit union. I said, look, I worked with you guys for 5 years. I'm looking for a job. Any opportunity that you guys have in the mortgage division.
Interesting. You went back to them.
I went back to the credit union. I ended up being a loan officer for the credit union.
Wow. They took you back. How great is that?
It is great.
Big shout out to them, right?
Good. Yes. You know what? It's good. They were such a good company to me that, credit union for me was like, it is family. It's like your second family. Like they believed in you. They gave me the opportunity to move up in there, and so I guess I left a good impact on some people enough for them to rehire me.
Wow. And then from there, you learned what now is the industry you went into, of course,
Correct.
Which is, of course, Orange County Escrow.
Correct.
Tell us about opening Orange County Escrow and how long you've had it and what it does. Share a little bit about that before we get into, of course, our Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Member of the Year, Maria Gomez, who's joining us here today. Share with us a little bit about Orange County Escrow, how you opened it, that journey.
So how it went about on opening Orange County Escrow Services. I've been in this industry with a mortgage for quite a while now, being an underwriter, loan officer, account executive, sales representative for different companies. But I wanted to do something different, so I got into sales, right? So I said, okay, I know a lot of people in Santa Ana, I know, especially in the mortgage industry so I decided to, why not be a sales rep? So then I became a sales rep and I did my homework because there weren't so many sales rep in the escrow, world. And so I said, well, I know a lot of people. If I sold loans before, why can I not sell escrow? So I then worked for another company out in Citadel as an escrow sales rep, right? So then I started bringing a lot of business. And I had asked the gentleman, I said, hey, is it okay if we open up my own branch in Santa Ana? Because Citadel's kind of far away from, Santa Ana. And I said, no, it would be great if you put an escrow officer there. And he was like, no, I don't think so. And I'm like, well, why not? Like, he didn't believe in my idea. He didn't, he liked my business, but not enough to open up a branch. Long story short, I ended up opening up a branch with another partner.
Okay.
And so, we did great. And then I saved up my money and I said, you know what, I can do this on my own and not need any partnerships, right? So then
you went on your own.
I went on my own.
Wow. The Latina entrepreneur in you.
Yeah.
And Orange County Escrow has been open 4 years now?
4 years, correct.
And what's that journey been like for you? Share with people listening. It's already been an amazing journey of just growing up, coming from a father and mother from Mexico at 1 year old, coming here, obviously being a young mother, having these beautiful children that you have, bouncing back and forth in different areas in the industry, obviously losing everything at one point. That's just an heroic story in itself. To now, you're thriving, Orange County. How did you get to that point? What's it been like?
Every business has its challenge, right? There's days that I want to just give up. In the very beginning, it was kind of difficult, right? Because I'm doing this all by myself. Trying to get people to trust you is one of the hardest things. So you have to prove them that, you got to earn that trust. And so for me, I wanted to market my business. I wanted people to get to know me because obviously in sales, I've learned that people want to work with you if they like you. It's not just the product you're selling or the service that you're giving. Is if you're likable, people want to work with you. And if you become very transparent and real to people, then of course it's a plus, right? So I started doing marketing, right? So I started being a part of the National Association of Hispanic Realtors, NAREP, and I became a board member because I wanted to connect with other agents, other brokers, other people in the industry, and have that word of mouth, like, hey, have you heard of Maria? She just opened up her escrow company. You might want to give her a try, or showing up to open houses, or
and eventually joining the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
And eventually, yeah, exactly. So for me, all these platforms have opened up opportunities with many people. And for me, it's my marketing piece, right? So yes, I joined the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce because I wanted to be a part of a good organization that, like I say, has a platform where I can work with, right? So for me, telling other clients, hey, I'm part of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm part of the NAREP board member. They know that you're part of a good community, and that's part of a trust that they were like, I want to do business with her. So I wanted to grow in a way that I want people to work with me.
You wanted to branch out, obviously build your brand. We want to thank you, of course. You've always sponsored our golf tournament, which raises money for scholarships for our young Latinos that are part of our youth chamber. So thank you, and thank you, Orange County Escrow, for always being a part of our golf tournament, which is coming up again in a couple months. What was it like for you to get that phone call that, or when you were told that you were going to be Member of the Year at Estrella Awards?
That was very kind of shocking in a way. And, because I was like, sometimes you ask yourselves, why me? And then, I kind of got to snap out of them like, yeah, why not me?
Yes,
so it's like, yeah, why not me? I've given back to an organization.
Are you kidding me? Why not you? Folks, are we not listening to the journey she just told us? Like, why not you?
Why not me?
Right?
So it always like, yeah, why not me? Because you grow up and you do the work, you hustle, because that's what your parents kind of teach you to work hard, and sometimes, you kind of have to like, be recognized for what you do,
I think we have a problem, right?
Yeah,
as
we
Latinos,
do. As Latinos.
Accepting that like award or like recognition.
Right.
It's almost like, I got to do more. I got to do better, right? But sometimes, like you said, why not you?
Why not me? Yeah.
Right?
So then I had to snap myself. I was like, yeah, why not me? And you know what? I was honored, and that was like for me a great moment, right? Because I was given the opportunity to bring my family over to the ceremony, which, we stated my father was there. And I always say this was like my prom, my wedding I didn't have.
Wow.
To see, for my father to see me in a dress and be recognized.
Yes.
And this was the first time my father ever wore a tuxedo.
He looked awesome.
Yeah. So I made everybody wear a tuxedo. I'm like, you're wearing a tuxedo. You're wearing a tuxedo.
The kids, everybody.
Kids. Yeah.
It was, I got to tell you, it was a beautiful moment.
It was a beautiful moment.
To see your dad there. And I'm pretty sure your dad was very proud of you.
Yes, he was.
We only have a few minutes left. The producers gave me the 5 minutes. What would you share to the youth chamber, to the other members of our chamber? People, what is the message that, of course, has been here? Obviously, you persevered. You've been through so much. What is that one last message you want to share with the community on our community podcast show?
Okay. So one thing I will tell the young Latinos, give yourself that opportunity. Let nobody tell you can't do it. Do it, take the risk. And even if you fail, get up and do it again. I think that there's many opportunities in this great country that, everybody can do it.
Exactly.
Everybody can.
And let me tell you, Maria, you've proven that.
Yeah.
You've proven that, wow, your journey has been amazing. We want to congratulate you again for being Member of the Year. We want to invite everybody listening, if you go to our website at OCHCC.org, you're going to see some great photos of Maria, the other Estrella Award winners, the whole Estrella Awards. It was a great event. Over 600 community leaders were there. And we also want you to go there so you can learn more about our next mixer, which is June 9th at the Angels Stadium. We do a business mixer there with the Hispanic Bar Association. And follow us, of course, on our Instagram at OCHCC. We want to thank Maria Gomez for being here. Maria, muchas gracias for being here.
No, thank you for having me.
I know the show goes by so fast.
It does.
Because you were like, how many questions are you going to ask me? What are we going to talk about? I said, it goes by really fast, right?
Yeah.
But I want to congratulate you on all your success. Continue all success.
Yes.
Thank you for being a great member. And folks, that does it. Next week, we will have Sylvia, our new chairwoman of our Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We're excited to have her on the show. And Maria, thank you for being here. Folks, enjoy yourselves. Again, we are glad to have you where our community is your community. Have a great day.
No, thank you.
Well, there you have it. If that's not an inspiring story, if that doesn't bring you back to hear more, I don't know what will, because that's what it's all about. It's our community, the Hispanic business community here in Orange County, powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio. Streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center. Join us each and every week as we celebrate and explore the richness of this thriving community and the real stories of the real people who make it really special. Because our community is your community.